Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to an episode of I.Am.She. Are we on? Have we started? Okay. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to I.Am.She Podcast.
Good morning. Good
How are you?
morning.
How are you guys? Happy belated St. Patrick's Day.
Is that why you put on green?
No, that's not why I put on green. That's not why I put on green, but
Good morning, guys. Good morning. I am so excited to be here. I might not sound like it, but I just got to wake up, y'all. I literally laid down to like the last second. Then I was like, oh, shit. I got to get Gemma together for cheerleading. And she started cheerleading Wednesday. She started cheerleading Wednesday, but they added on 2 extra practices on the weekend, this weekend and next weekend, because their first game is April the 1st, and they did not have time to, it's not enough time to prepare them for the cheers and stuff that they need for the football game. So, yeah, they had to do some extra practices, which unfortunately I won't be there. But I don't like the fact that, I'm not rambling on, I'm not going to say too much today. I don't like the fact that they don't let you in there. They don't let you in the practices.
just because
I don't
y'all
know how I
parents
feel
be
about
distracted.
I
Don't
don't.
be
I just
distracted.
no. It's not that. It's just that it is 2023, and these pedophiles are getting more and more. They're just coming out. So it's not even that I'm not distracting her. I really don't care. I've never been a cheerleader, so I don't really know too
I'm
much
not
about
saying
cheering.
you, but I'm saying parents in general. Parents in general are distracting to their kids, especially when they're in practice. Especially when you're dealing with little kids like that. You know, little kids be like, I want my mommy. You know, they want to run over there to their parents instead of focusing. So I
Right.
get it.
Well, I figured that they was at least going to have one of those, like, so like when they do swim classes, like the kids do swim classes. When they do swim classes, they have the open window, so you're not in there, but you can still monitor your child. So I feel like that should be like an alternative if you're saying kids at that age, especially at that age. Some kids, I'm not talking about the practice. I'm talking about the safety of it. Kids that age, a lot of kids won't tell you if things are going on, if somebody talks to them inappropriately or anything like that. They don't know how to take it. So I feel like there should be like the little open window at least. But she was good. It was only like 3 of them in there, 3 cheer coaches in there. They were really nice. They introduced themselves, and their kids were on the cheer team. So I felt a little bit comfortable once I got in there, but at first I was like, wait, what? Because going into one of our topics about, the young lady from Baltimore that found out that her husband was, molesting the kids within her daycare, that just brought me back to a whole nother thing. I just felt like I need to know what is going on with my child. But I get it because I sent her to school by herself. It's the same as sending her to school by herself. Cheerleading is, I'm sending her to school for almost 8 hours by herself. Cheerleading is an hour, so I get it. It's fine, I guess. I guess I get it. But I'm excited though. I am excited because I am officially a first-time cheer mom. So yeah, I'm about to. Well, I thought I was gonna be the one to get into, being a cheer mom. Like, oh, I'm gonna have her. I can't wait till she starts cheering. Oh, she gonna be da 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 da, and I'm gonna be involved. Da, da, da. No, my David then took over. David's like, does she need shoes? Does she need pump stones? What does she look like? What did her uniform look like? Does she need makeup? How did they do her hair? What does her hair need to look like? Do I need to start making her appointments for hairdresser? I'm like, oh my God, calm down, brother. Calm down. You are a cheer. You the cheer mom. And that's crazy for a man that does not like sports and stuff like that. When his kids get involved, he turned into one of those side crazed maniac parents that's on the sideline, like, no, you, he be ready to fight and everything. I'm like, boy, calm down. She just started. Does she need shoes? Does she need bows to go on her shoes? What's the website? I'm like, oh my God, you are such a girl. But I'm glad he's excited. So, you making it boring. Let's talk. Get excited.
I'm making it boring. You talking about your kids and your husband. I was just listening, girl.
I always get excited when it comes to them. I just get so excited when they take on new ventures. It is very exciting when they take on new ventures and you finally become, that soccer mom. Yay! I got issues. I have issues.
Clearly.
But anyway, good morning. It's Saturday. What's y'all plans for Saturday? What y'all got going on? It feel good outside. Well, it feel good down here. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. It feel good down here. It is the first day of spring break. I don't know if it's spring break there, but it is the first day of spring break for the kids here. So I am excited to do some things this week. You said it's over?
Spring break isn't not until April.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They doing spring break when it's Easter time.
That makes sense. I thought about that too. I was like, that kind of makes sense. Why are they not doing spring break when it's Easter? That's what I actually thought because I hadn't looked on my calendar to see when Easter was because I like to be prepared. I like to do some early shopping when it comes to Easter. I do my own Easter baskets and things like that. So I hadn't looked at the calendar, and that's what I thought. I thought that's why they were taking spring break down here because it was Easter next Sunday, because they spring break started yesterday. Yesterday was the last day of school. I know that now, but yeah, that makes sense now that you say that. I don't know why they start their spring break early. I don't know. It may be because they get out early down here too. That's the other thing. They get out early and they go in early. I believe they start school back August the 10th.
Oh, okay. Huh? Oh. Yeah, they start school early down there. They start school in August.
Yeah, August the 10th, which is weird too, which is another thing. Huh?
They get out in May.
Yeah, they get out in May, but it's crazy because they start school. I don't know. Their schedule is so weird. But one thing I do notice about, and I don't know if it's something that, well, one thing I do notice about their school system, I think so far is pretty awesome because the last day of school, well, that Friday, they have these, so all the kids' school, they have these videos. It's kind of like kind of like, it's like the announcements for the school, but they send them to the parents too. It's like a live YouTube video to just tell, everybody what's going on for the week, upcoming events, if there are any sports coming up, just things just to keep up and keep in tune with what's going on in the kids' school. And what I really like was that they said that I saw it, it's not that they said, the superintendent here sent out a newsletter just before the kids got out for spring break. And it was a really funny letter. It was basically saying like, I know you all guys are excited about, spring break coming up, and you have your vacation. Some of you had your staycations, but just please be mindful about everybody's going to be at the beaches. And it was a lot of good information that they gave for going to the beach. Some of the things I never thought about, because that was my first go-to. Like, okay, they can just go to the beach, for a couple, the next couple of days, they can just go to the beach. But some of the things that they wrote, the superintendent wrote, I never thought about it. Like, being mindful about always keeping your, cell phone, to keep your cell phone. But, the message about, telling the kids, okay, don't drink unless you're over 21. Just, simple things that you don't think about.
I got a question. So with all these different laws that's coming about in Florida that's going to affect the kids in school, I read one this morning where it was discussing how lawmakers in Florida do not want girls or young girls to discuss or basically know anything about having a period. How do that make you feel, especially knowing that you have a daughter and then, of course, she's going to grow up and have a menstrual cycle?
They don't want the school to teach them about that?
They don't want young girls to discuss periods in schools. So, hold on. Let me do the shade room. Was it the shade room or was it Baller Alert? Let me see. I'm trying to see where I saw that. I think it was Baller Alert. But then also, they are trying to stop young kids and in school period K through 12 from discussing like gender pronouns and things. You know how people want to be called she, her, him, them.
Right. So well, if specifically in Florida, period, if you pay attention to just the news all around and anything that comes down to political matters, Florida is always the first one to jump on. And this is kind of like a political state, like next to DC. This is like the second DC. And they always trying to pass some type of laws, and they always trying to do something. As far as the periods, I don't know to what extent they mean like just not saying anything. I mean, I think that's appropriate unless, I don't understand, like, is it the class? They don't want it to be taught in class, like how to handle your menstrual cycle, or like what is the specifics of it?
Hold on, I'm trying to find it. I wish
like you're not walking around like, having conversations like, girl, I'm on
it's like being, how when you in school and you learn about a menstrual cycle, they trying to stop it. They're trying to stop that, basically. They don't want girls to talk about their menstrual cycle and things that they're going through in their bodies, basically.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because that's part of the health class. I just had a letter sent about the
health classes too, honey.
Well,
they don't want these kids learning nothing about themselves, their genders, their nothing with their body. They don't even want CRT to be taught.
Right. Well, that's when parenting comes in. That's when more parenting comes in, because outside of school, first of all, let me just be blunt with it. It's always did you see that Instagram video? It was a guy that was talking about the Instagram video, and the real backing behind these laws is the Karens. That's the real backing behind these laws. It's not even the husbands. It's not even the males. It's the Karens behind these.
Have you been to a meeting at your school yet?
No, I haven't. I came in late. School was almost over, honey. Like they send out the survey, they send out the Title One survey.
The majority of the kids in the majority of the children in your kids' school, are they predominantly white?
No, this is a mix. This area is really mixed. It's almost like Middle River.
But is it predominantly white though? Like 40% white, like
No.
48% white, like 51% white and 49% black?
Well, if you categorize it, so it's hard to categorize it like that because you got, like I said, it's like Middle River, so you got just as many mixed kids as white kids. You see what I'm saying?
No, I'm talking
so
about.
Would you
white
consider them? Oh, no. So no,
how
it's
many?
not.
Is it more white kids than black kids, or is it more black kids than white kids?
It's more mixed kids. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So it depends on how you categorize.
Biracial children.
Biracial, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
So on a scale, what percentage of there do you think that it is white kids and black kids?
I would say between white kids and black kids, I don't know. Not even, but I would say maybe, I'm going to say maybe 58 to 60%. It's almost even. It's almost even. Like, it's because you see, like, literally, I was sitting at the park yesterday and I was talking to David and I was like, this is like living in Middle River. Like I see so many biracial couples at the park. Like it's like I'm starting to see like this area. I see it's like it's normal. I see so many biracial couples, but no, it's not. Now the area itself, outside of the schools, it's a retirement community. It's nothing but like like the old people basically taking over the area itself, the community itself. The old people have taken over. This is really like a retirement community. So that's another reason why you don't. I guess that may come into play for why it's not majority white, majority black. And then the other thing is there's like, so how do you describe it? Like not too far from where the kids' school is, there's a neighborhood they call Bunnell. It's another part of Palm Coast. They call it Bunnell. I don't know how you label it. I guess there's Palm Coast, and then you drive a couple of minutes, maybe like 5 minutes, and it's an area called Bunnell. And Bunnell is where all the black people live at. So they go to that school. They go to the same school too.
So it's only one school district.
Right. Flag. Well, no, it's one school district, but it's 3. Hold on. I gotta check it. Because it's a school called Manza. I don't know if y'all seen that school on the news. That the little boy got charged for hitting the teacher for taking a Nintendo game. Did you see that? It was down here in Flagler County. The black boy that was getting charged, but they said he had a mental disability. He hit the teacher. He beat the teacher up. Basically, he's getting charged because he beat the teacher up for taking his Nintendo Switch or something like that. And that was in middle school, I believe. Hold on. I'm going to tell you. Flagler. Go ahead, continue while I look this up.
Well, that's all I really wanted to ask, because I know that Florida is one of them states where they trying to abolish a lot of different laws, or not even saying to the kids in schools, where it's just basically like they don't want the kids to learn nothing about anything, just straight up go to school, right. And then no learning about your body, no learning about your gender, no learning about anything.
Yeah, so here in Palm Coast, it's only 2 high schools, 2 middle schools, and 4 elementary schools. It's 4 elementary schools, 2 middle schools out of the whole county, and 2 high schools out of the whole county.
So Florida Republican would ban young girls from discussing periods in school. Florida Republicans are introducing an advanced wave of bills on gender and diversity. They are likely to be signed into law by Governor DeSantis. One lawmaker acknowledged this week that he proposed a sexual health bill that will ban girls from talking about their menstrual cycles in school. Republican Stan McClain has proposed legislation that will restrict certain educational materials used in state schools, which Democrats and critics have likened to banning the books. House Bill 1069 will also require that instruction on sexual health, such as health education, sexually transmitted diseases, and human sexuality, would be prohibited from young girls. Would prohibited young girls from talking about their periods in school when they first start having them.
Well, then that kind of plays backwards to them trying to ban abortions. Because if you're not having these conversations with them, then you're going to create more pregnancies. If they don't know how their bodies work, you're going to create more pregnancies, but they can't get abortions.
I just think about stuff like that when I move into different areas, think about moving into different places, even with Texas, like about the laws and how things, the makeup of it is, it's not such a freer state as Maryland is, and I just think about certain laws in certain places when I go there, like how is it, what are they trying to
Right. That's the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, why is it so? I guess the biggest thing for me when it comes to these people, it seems like every time there's a law in place that has to do with a female's body, a female's organ, just a female, it's always majority males that's backing it. Do you notice that?
Of course.
But why is there any concern? Because here's the thing, and you know what? I feel like in a way, as even with abortions, when that abortion law came into play, and my biggest thing was, okay, y'all want to ban abortions, y'all want to make abortions a big deal, but pay attention. A lot of these lawmakers, y'all the ones getting caught up in these sex houses and stuff like that, and impregnating these strippers and stuff, and now you want to ban abortions. You setting yourself up.
It's one of those things where it's good for you, but it's not. It's good for me, but it's not good
for
me. It's also one of those things where you have to really think about what they're trying to push here. Like they're really trying to push I don't want to say it. Never mind. I'm not gonna go. We're not gonna go.
No, we gonna go there. Yes. Say what you need to say.
No, I ain't gonna talk about it.
That's a good topic, though. That's a really good topic.
Certain things, you have to pay attention to certain things and certain laws and the way that they're making certain laws, and just sit back and go,
What's the reason behind it?
Yeah.
What's the real reason behind it?
But let's get into these hot topics. Let's get into these hot topics. My shoulder is killing.
I think anything with the government, when it all boils down to it, it's a sense of controlling. It's a sense of controlling the communities. It's a sense of controlling, the economics of it. It's just a means of just controlling everything. But it seems like every time they bring and change and manipulate these laws, it just creates a downfall. For instance, I don't want to go off the topic that you were trying to get into, but let's talk about the Silicon Valley Bank. If you look at that, the Silicon Valley Bank and the law that they put in place, they said, I don't know if it's true. Allegedly, they said Donald Trump was one of the people who signed on the law to take on these tech startup companies and things like that without, judging them or anything like that, just taking on basically like taking risky investments, and it was a law that they put in place to not, to I forgot how the law went. I just read it. But basically, you taking on a risky investment without knowing anything, without looking at, just without looking at the analytics of it, without looking at the algorithm of how the tech work, if it's going to fail, if it's not. Like they basically was allowing people like no prejudgment for these startup companies, no prejudgment. And now look, the banks, those banks are like they failed. So it's always a downfall when they try to put these laws in place. It's funny to me. It's kind of funny. I mean, I know it affects us all, but to me, it's like, yeah, I mean, we really got to pay attention when it comes to voting and, getting into these policies, especially us as a community. We push it so much about, vote, pay attention, look at your community, pay attention to who you're putting in office and things like that. When it's when it comes time to vote and those times come around, but we really don't. We really just
We
talk
don't.
about it.
We don't pay attention to certain things. We just vote.
We
And a
don't.
lot of times, and I'm gonna just end it right here. I'm gonna just say my last piece. We don't pay attention to bills that are being proposed. We don't pay attention to bills that are being, when they mail you out those ballots right before an election, look up those bills that they're proposing. Look at that ballot, not just to see who's running for what, but look up those bills that are being proposed and things that are being brought down in the line of laws. Like you have to pay attention to that shit. Like just don't pay attention to certain things that I heard about the weed bill, let me vote for the weed bill. No, it's other things that we
Right.
think about
What's
being
beneficial to you?
Exactly.
Because you still, at the end of the day, our kids, when we're not here, our kids gonna be stuck with these laws. They're gonna be stuck with these bills. When we're not here, they're gonna be stuck with them. These are for them. These are gonna affect them.
I'm gonna add real quick. It is not just them being stuck with it, but their level of intelligence or education is going to suffer also. So a lot of this stuff is being done by moms and Karens and women's boards as they've always been. The difference now is because people, I don't have children, so it's not my problem. My children doesn't go to school in that city, so it's not my. But people aren't speaking up enough. Parents, teachers can yell and scream all day, but we are listed as just employees. So often our point of view doesn't matter because it's really the parents and ultimately the community that makes a difference. And I've said to you too, because a lot of the information that's happening in Florida, Kay, like as a teacher, we get a lot of those emails because the thing is, if it's going to happen there, it could possibly happen in any city or any state. So I normally get that information ahead of time. But what happens is parents don't come out to vote. Communities don't vote on issues that don't pertain to them, or they'll just skip it. So these things automatically, if you all look at, I think at Florida, they're up to, I think, almost 180 books that have been banned. And these books are books like Beloved, The Color Purple, authors of that vein, poets of that vein. So they're not receiving an education that is for them. Like it's not even included. And there is really a fear of making somebody's child uncomfortable, making them feel responsible for. And that's where a lot of this stuff came from. And speaking as to somebody who went to an all white, predominantly white school and Catholic school, if I go back and look at what I was taught, there was nothing about me that was included in that curriculum other than one day. And I've said before on your platform, it told me that slavery wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. Why would someone beat their slave? That's like beating their tractor. Associating us or comparing us to farm equipment. This is very serious, and I know some parents feel so overwhelmed, and I don't have time to people policing curriculum, but it matters enough when your child is then 18 or 21 or 25 and have no idea about what their history is. If you keep
What
sending
their
them to
history
these
is.
schools that are built on higher education or college preparatory education, and it's nothing. They are erasing our history, not just prohibiting it, but they're erasing our history. And it is a crazy feeling to see it happen. But did not just start now. This has been a thing. When we come to their schools, this is what has happened to us. Now they're making it so in all public schools. And depending on what class level your child is on, whether they're in elementary, middle, or high school, and even college, it depends on how much information is being extracted. The CRT is not something that is taught in grade school. It's not taught.
Exactly.
It's not really even
Exactly.
taught at the greater majority of colleges. It's only taught in law schools, and that's still not all law schools that teach it. It is really a handful of them, but that we're being force fed this information in a way where we
It's
feel
like
like it's already
people
happening
exactly.
or it's
It's like
something
people
new.
are refusing to want to like. Of course, you wouldn't want to teach CRT to a bunch of second graders or first graders for that matter. You wouldn't want to teach CRT to kids who are not having history as a prerequisite to graduate. You know, I believe
Well, it's not,
CRT
but
should be
it's not even about critical race theory. Is a specific class. It's not even something that goes along with history. Elementary school, you don't get history. You get social studies. Middle school, you don't get in-depth history. You get social
right.
studies and
You get
classes
social stuff
similar to
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
They call it
High
world
school is the
history.
level, right? High school is the level where you begin to get history classes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Higher
you can
exactly.
pick
That's
your
what I was.
education,
That's
classes.
what I was trying to say. That's what
right?
I was going
But
to
it's
say.
not anything even
Yeah.
associated with those things. It is basically a couple college students from Harvard decided to um, create a theory about the connection between police violence on black people and the lack of history knowledge in schools and just connecting the two. And what happened was they turned that into something where they were race baiting, meaning we were doing something wrong by addressing it. So that allowed them to be able to take any form of history out of textbooks, out of classrooms, and such. And on the side where I'm at, we then get reprimanded for doing things or teaching things that are outside of the realm of those things, even in a city like Baltimore, where it's predominantly black or democratic. Like it still trickles down to what we're doing because they're able to put it in the curriculum or take things out of it that would deem some white child being made to feel bad about how his ancestors
Right.
treated people that are sitting in front of him or in his class. So I'm just saying, and I know you are more attentive to it, but you all have, if you're in those states, the Floridas, the Midwestern type of states, Southern states, it is really on your shoulders to then pick up the mantle that those schools are dropping and teach your children about history as it is, not as it's being portrayed in movies or on, in certain curriculums. That's my only fear. When you said you were moving there, I was really like a little nervous because you have younger children. So this will affect them more so than somebody if you had like an 11th or 12th grader who had already gotten a
Right.
certain amount of education already. But yeah, this be mindful and pay attention to all those letters they send home because it's very encrypted, and it's very one-sided. I think you're muted, Kay.
That's one of the biggest things with me. I've always been assertive when it comes to their schools and things like that. In some type of way, I've always been assertive. I always find some type of way to, at least be in communication to let those teachers be familiar. That's the biggest thing that I've learned. And I got that. I didn't learn that from Maryland, surprisingly. I learned that when I got to North Carolina, the difference between having a relationship with those teachers and not having a relationship with those teachers, because in Baltimore it's a little bit different. You can't go into certain schools and things like that, but in North Carolina, that really taught me a different, like, I really saw the difference in my kids education when I inserted myself and my face was familiar, like, to be able to just send an email and say, like, I had to teach myself to do that. Just sending an email, just a random email. You don't have to wait till that parent, I'm sorry, you don't have to wait till that teacher reaches out to you and say, hey, your son's missing an assignment or whatever. Just randomly reach out to them and say, hey, if you can schedule those conferences, you can schedule those teacher parent conferences. I don't remember a time where I've ever sent an email and say, hey, can we talk? I want to have a meeting. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on, with his grades, and just randomly. You don't have to wait till the progress report comes out and they send a little notation on the progress report or the report card saying, hey, we want to do teacher parent conferences. You don't have to wait.
But I'm gonna tell you, once you go to those parent PTA meetings, it's too late, because
Right.
ultimately the decisions are made on the school board level or the city council level. Those are the and I know parents work, but find a family member or a neighbor or make friends with another parent that's going, so you can find out when votes are happening, when things are happening to change the course of the city or the town that you may be in. Going to the PTA meetings is not enough. I'm sorry to parents who think that they're up ahead of the game, but by the time you hear it at a PTA meeting, the decision has already been made.
Right. And
And
another thing that I do is, like, I sign up for anytime I go to a different town, like this is what our second town, that our second, hopefully our last town that we'll be moving with the kids. But I always sign up for, because a lot of the stuff you will find out on social media before you find out on the actual board websites. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
Huh?
yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, like, a lot of stuff you'll find out when it comes to these votes and these, school boards and stuff. You'll find out on social media before you find out on, like, those websites, those school board websites.
Hmm.
So that's like another good idea. You always want to follow, you always want to sign up for the social media sites so you can just know what's going on, just overall within a community. You want to know what's going on because everything within a community is still, to some extent, involves the schools within the community.
But the step above that would be, in addition to that, rather, joining the city council social media, and subscribing to their website, for the city council, for the school board, because often notices have to be sent out about changes, but they put them in places where you're not going to look, and only certain parents that are that involved in the political side of it will show up to,
Right.
because they're already
Right.
getting the information because of their political affiliation. But you have to,
Well,
and it may seem like crazy, but you have to sign up for those Republican, websites and
mhm,
political web, so when stuff is happening that will affect not only your community but your children, your family, your money, and it's very unfortunate. And I feel like we're about to go through another Trump type of era, because people are just, I'm just done with these Democrats. So I'm not doing anything. And you're really hurting, especially if you don't have children, especially if you're not working in those environments. Your lack of support is gonna create a trickle down. Look at where we at right now. No matter what um, Biden did, him and Harris did, we would be in this space right now. We have people who are being priced out. If you don't already have a decent job, you are affected. You are
Right.
being moved out of your cities and your towns and being transported or made to be homeless, even in certain situations, because people are, I'm about my money, I'm about my pocket, I'm about my home. I'm about and often they're not even about their own children, because they're not even participating on all levels of government to be able to vote these things out and not allow people to come into your school system and shut down schools or take stuff out of the curriculum. It's a hot spot for me because I'm seeing it, and even as an educator, I've had to remove myself from the school system because it's stuff out of my control. Even as a teacher, I can't make a suggestion to the superintendent because him or her are not even going to listen to what my needs are or what I see problems being. So it's really parents. You have to, just like the Karens unite, our brown faces got to unite in the same way.
I was going to say that they can assert themselves in these meetings. They can pop up and make, and they come as a group and they bring themselves to these meetings. They make a fuss, and that's how things get changed. They make a damn fuss. We need to make a fuss the same way that we out there. And I mean, it's a lot. Overall, I can say just as an African American, as a Black woman, as just a Black person in our community, it's so much going on, and I feel like we are continuously trying to fight. Just it's so much. It's overwhelming sometimes, but that's my piece. It's a lot.
Let's get into these hot topics, though.
What was the first one we talking about?
We talking about Shantari Weems, the lady from Baltimore County who was a daughter who shot her husband in a hotel room in DC. Yeah, well, he was doing some type of security services for this league or something, and she went to the hotel room to confront him to basically shoot the shit out of his ass. So basically kill him. Well, from what I was reading, she was trying to kill him and herself, but I guess she just I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, she was.
How are you? Bruce Leshan. The judge says Shantari Weems took the law into her own hands. But she says she snapped, and some supporters see her as a kind of avenging angel, seeking justice for horrible crimes against children.
I was emotional.
Her backers were stunned last month when a judge slapped the 50-year-old with a 4-year sentence, twice what even prosecutors recommended in a plea deal.
Despite my surroundings, I'm doing okay. I have a lot of supporters and people who uplift me and help me survive.
Prosecutors have charged her husband, James Weems, with 33 counts of rape and child sex crimes. He's awaiting trial, and his lawyer is declining to comment.
Don't let them sweep this under the rug. The man is still alive. And
right from the start, the internet was filled with support for Weems under the hashtag #FreeShantari. She shot her husband, a retired cop, twice in his room at what was then DC's Mandarin Oriental Hotel, where he was staying while providing security at the Urban League convention. The judge said her attack on her husband was premeditated, not spontaneous, that police had told her days earlier that they were investigating him, and they'd shut down her little kid's castle in Baltimore County while they looked into the allegations of child sexual abuse.
The only person I had to find out information from was my husband, and he kept saying he didn't do it.
And you believed him?
I did believe him.
But then, she says, the mother of one of the children, a child she'd loved and cared for years, said they had to talk.
So I saw the pain in her face, and I knew that she was not lying. She finally said it was my husband.
You think about that child all the time?
All the time. I think about all the children all the time.
You felt this complete betrayal of trust?
I was totally broken. I felt like the blood had just drained out of my body because, again, this is my husband. I trusted him fully. He was supposed to help me protect these children. He always told me he was my protector. So when I heard this, I just felt like my world had just ended.
She took her first drink in 20 years and according to prosecutors, texted her business partner, "I'm going to kill him and then myself." She drove to the hotel and angrily confronted him.
I snapped. I'm not a violent person.
Tomorrow night, Shantari Weems takes us through the shooting. What was she thinking?
The first shot was in the neck,
Yes,
and then you shot him in the leg.
yes.
How could she open fire on her own husband, the man she had loved and trusted more than anyone? At the D.C. Department of Corrections, Bruce LaShan, WUSA 9.
Now, was that her after she shot him with that dress on? Honey came with a dress on.
That was her with that dress. Went in there to shoot that man.
I don't care what is going on. I'm coming. She came with a dress on. She was ready. She was like, I need to be comfortable for this. I need to be comfortable.
It's about to go down. Listen, I do not blame her
At all.
I would have done the same thing. If I was
Would
in
you?
her shoes and I had to do what she did, I would have did the same damn thing. I wouldn't have thought about killing myself, but I definitely would have killed his.
I wouldn't have texted anybody.
I wouldn't have killed him. I definitely would have shot the shit out that nigga though. I would
I
have
wouldn't
shot
have
his
texted
ass
you.
too.
I wouldn't have texted you.
I wouldn't have texted.
That's what got her in trouble. I wouldn't have texted you.
See, the business part ain't even had to do all that. She ain't even had to get a text message over. Bitch, you
Right.
telling them my business. Get a
Right.
subpoena. I'm
Know your
deleting it anyway.
friends. Know
Okay?
your friends.
Know your friends. Because
Know your
there's no
friends.
way. Listen, I feel her pain, her rage, her anger. I am mad at the judge. That's who my anger is for. Because, sir, what? Like, even the prosecutor was like, that's not what we asked for, because she did the right thing here. We don't even want to try this case for real. We really want to let her go. But as long as she does good, she has good time, and I mean she is good on her time, or whatever they call that shit. You do good in jail, you get good time or some shit, and they let you go in a certain amount of years, she'll be fine. It's just that I wonder what her recovery is going to look like. And not even her, the kids who he has harmed. What do they
Right. Like, that's the other thing. I don't understand. That's the biggest thing. I feel like they made such a big deal. About her and the fact that she shot him, more so than the fact of the effect on the kids.
That it's going to have on these kids. You know, and I know you can't probably put their faces out there or their names and shit, or even their ages, because of the fact that they are minors. But I want to know what steps are being taken to help those kids. I don't agree with the time, but they do have.
That was my thoughts.
True,
that was my thoughts exactly.
I mean, you know, we do have. Vigilantes are such frowned upon at some point in society. You know, we want everybody to be a vigilante, but you know, at the end of the day, you can't be. You know, it's I guess it's that moral compass, like, no, because then everybody's gonna be a vigilante. But in this case, I'm sorry, and I think this is just that exception to the rule. That is the exception to the rule, you know. And it's like, I feel like, and I think that's what they were trying to do, even with the 2 years. But the judge just took it too fucking far. Like, I just think the judge took it too far.
Was the judge a male or a female? That's what I need to know.
It was a man.
He probably
That's what everybody was saying too. Look into him. Y'all need to look into that judge. That's what people were saying. Some of the comments was like, I would look into the judge and see what he got in his background, because it's no way. Yeah.
Do you think that her sentence, and I almost felt like, I wrote it down when I was looking at the video, I almost kind of felt like another reason why it was handed down, her sentence was handed down a little bit more harsher. I feel like, do you think it had to do with the fact that even though he was a retired cop, being a cop overall, even though he was retired, do you think that played a part in them trying to make an example out of her for shooting a cop?
It could, you know, because they protect their own. You know how they do. They do with their
I feel
you know, we're brothers.
I feel like in a way, if those parents push the ones who kids were victims of him, if they push, I feel like it might be a lot, but I feel like if they were to possibly push the release or at least lesser time on her, I feel like that may work and go take it to another judge though. Take it
I,
to
I
another judge.
I hate to make a lot of this about um voting and showing up, but this
It
is
goes
what
different to
happens.
mm-hmm.
We are in control of this, and I know we hear a lot, and we sometimes say ourselves, we don't have any control, but we do. When you show up and just check off the stuff that pertains to you, or the stuff, the person that you're getting your homeboy in office, this is what happens. It's what
Or just getting
happens.
a black person in office just because they black. You still gotta pay
Right.
attention to their
But how
background.
many of those parents of those children were angry at her and did not lend their voice? Many of
Right.
them probably didn't lend their voice because their child was affected by it, or they didn't want to look like a person that was defending what happened to those children.
Right.
We do that with each other. And on the side of the comment that I made to you all, we can't have vigilante justice, because what happens when there's a Trayvon Martin or any of the other people that's vigilante things happening? The pendulum swings both ways. We have to play injustice, and it sounds unfair when they don't have to, but that's the only way we're going to promote any type of change and get any actual change. We cannot keep defending people just choosing, because one thing, you have to go to court. So I understand if he was found guilty and we figured out what's wrong, but people are choosing to go and hurt people. And at the end of the day, is that going to help those children? Is it going to bring any more trust and comfort to those parents? No.
I
So
think it
her
was
killing
more
him
of
was to get herself out of trouble, in my opinion.
I think it was more of an emotional thing. I think it affected her emotionally. I think it affected her mentally to be, especially when it's almost like somebody cheating and they sitting right there lying in your face and they keep telling you know it wasn't me, but I saw you. No, it wasn't me, but I saw the text message. It wasn't me, but I saw, almost making you feel like you dumb, like you losing your mind. You understand?
But I think for her, a lot of things were played in factor. One, she probably was very so attached to those children. She was probably embarrassed. She was probably afraid of what would happen to her business and how these people would talk about her specifically. But also, there's a lot of things that she probably missed the ball on. Was he an employee? Why did he have access to those children? It was a facility outside of her home. It wasn't like in her home. But why did he have access to that space to a point where,
I
was
feel
it
like he
times
probably
when you
played a
left?
role in maybe her business or something.
Right.
Right.
Even if he would have been like a
'Cause she-
driver, like I used to work at a
Because she
daycare
could.
center, and
But was he
my
registered
daycare,
to
the
do that
owner, her
though?
son, he was just a driver. He wasn't a regular everybody that they see all the time, but he would just pick the kids up from school, drop them off,
Right.
or whatever.
But there are certain ways
But
that you're supposed to
he
do that
probably
though.
played an essential role in her business.
Yeah,
Right. And then
but in those cases where you're hiring family members to do stuff, you still have to do criminal background checks
You
on them.
still have to do
So it
criminal
just
background
covers
checks. He
you.
probably
Don't just
never
hire them.
displayed, but he probably
Yep.
never displayed any type of that behavior before. It's probably his background.
But this would have
It's
saved
probably not
it.
anyway,
It
because
would have saved her reputation
you have
though.
to go.
that's
But it
true.
saved her reputation. But anybody who's dealing with kids has to get fingerprinted. Or
Mm-hmm.
it has to get something. So I'm pretty sure.
But
that
he
if
was
they do
already a
that
retired cop. Right.
right, but he still has to get fingerprinted.
Right.
So
You
I'm pretty
still have
sure
to go
if he
through it.
gets fingerprinted and stuff like that, it's not in his background. Because if it was, he would have automatically been denied. Get out.
Don't forget though, he was a cop, so he may have had those skeletons in his closet, but at the same time, like you said,
Mhm.
they stick together. So those skeletons in his closet may have never came up, may have got erased, may have got expunged, because
Mhm.
again, goes back to what his status was. He was a cop, so you don't know what he had in his background or what he hid from her.
You're right.
Especially,
You don't know what
how
he
long
had
were
in his
they
background.
married? How long were they married and she did not know that he had these tendencies?
and
I just
trust
want
me,
to know.
I'm not blaming
But
her,
you got
but
to
just
think about it.
knowing.
He
But,
probably have silent victims. He probably
right.
have silent victims. People
Hmm.
who were afraid to come up. So it may not have never been. It may have been a point where he's never been prosecuted.
Well,
He's
Prosecuted.
if
never
he's
been.
doing it, if
He's
he's
never been
allegedly, you
prosecuted
still have to
because
say allegedly.
somebody was scared
If
to
Say
he's
say
like,
a
something.
if he's allegedly doing this to children, those are the victims.
He's
Most of
done this
those children
before,
are
but
just
to who?
right, and it that's such a slippery slope, but it's just scary that this can happen. But that's why we cannot cut corners when we do business.
When we do
And I'm not
business.
saying that she didn't, but chances are he was fixing stuff in the building, or I mean, if you didn't see it, where was he able to do these things that when nobody saw it? I wonder if she had other employees. So that then leads me to believe that she was leaving him in charge of these
oh,
children.
that's what I was going to say. If she
From the
leaving him
looks
in
of the
charge by
building, it looked
himself.
like a fairly big building.
Right,
So depending on where, like you said, it could depend on where he might have been taking these kids to.
right.
Was it just little girls? Was it little boys? Was it both of
Right.
them?
They didn't
It's a
they
lot
didn't
of
express
questions.
anything. He
They
could have been the person
yeah,
to take the little boys to like the bathroom. Can you just take the boys to the
Mhm.
bathroom or something like that? Something as simple as that. They
right,
didn't even
right.
specify what type of victim, if it was female or male. So
I think from what I was hearing, it was both, which
Oh
makes it
wow.
just harder to believe when stuff like this happen. And I'm not trying to go at somebody's business, but it's a reason you have to check up on people. I sometimes get frustrated when I got to take criminal background checks or drug checks every time I change schools or something, or when I go from a
Right.
summer camp to, but I understand what it's for. But we cannot cut corners. I've said to certain employers, "Hey, no, I haven't had my fingerprints done in a
Right.
year."
I haven't done my sieges yet. I
And
haven't done my
even in
sieges, and I need to go do
right,
my finger. I need to go do that right now.
and even in the school
Yeah.
system, if you work continuously for I think 6 months, you don't have. If you change
Mhm.
school 12 times, you don't have to get another fingerprint done.
And that's what
that's
I'm saying. Listen, and
so.
that's what I don't like about the law now. So they changed it to where as though you can get your sieges once a year. I don't like that. I don't like that. They got
But
the
that's because, well,
365.
their thought is if you're working continuously in that school setting, you don't have to because something will come up if it happens. Like it's not like breaks of time where you're off. But that still doesn't say it still doesn't include if you've gotten an investigation from CPS or if something
Right.
happens. None
See,
of those things follow you. The same
I
as
was
police officers. If you change districts, your stuff don't go with you. Like if you
so
go
I
to a
was
whole
listening
nother city,
to
go ahead.
so at work, I deal with I work for MSDE, and we have this thing called the
Right.
Autism Waiver Program. So with that we deal with
Hmm.
providers. So listening in on one of our provider meetings, a lady was saying that they have this system now where they put their employee's name in this system, and at any point, if this employee gets arrested or
It
anything,
pops.
it automatically sends an alert to their phone, like, "Hey, last night John Doe got arrested for XYZ." And I think that is a good system to have in place. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of it. I cannot remember for the life of me the name of that. It's like an app or something
So
that they had developed.
It's a database.
so
It's a database of the providers basically, and they
Yeah, I
go
don't know
in
what it. I don't know the name of it though.
and they go
so
in. It's just so it randomly does background checks.
Right,
Instead of
right.
doing it every year or every 6, they do it randomly. It could be weekly, it could be monthly, and they randomly check it. And if your name pops up, then that's how they find out. And I think that's how it should be for everybody. But as a teacher, as a sub, as a teaching artist, that doesn't happen. If you're out of the school system for a certain amount of time, you got to go back up there and redo your fingerprints. But
Right.
if every year I've been working all year. I just go and get a new ID. And unless somebody has tipped somebody off or something happened within the school system, nothing gets checked. So that's why I said I don't believe that she may not have done. I'm not going to say that, but this is why we can't just hire friends and hook people up. They got to go through the same process as somebody you don't know and don't trust,
particularly
because
in that.
anything can happen. And she would not have had to go to that extent. All she would have said was, I gave him a background check. Nothing came up. And that would have cleared her of not necessarily the responsibility, because
But
the
then my
parents would have
thing
still been
is,
looking at her.
so here's
Mhm.
my question that I really want to know the answer to, and I wish I want to be able to find it, is
Mhm.
what tipped the police off? Who or
The
what
parent.
tipped the police off to them investigating him in a sense?
The parent.
Because mind you,
No,
she
I
never
think
knew anything about it.
no, I know what tipped her off was it was from what
No,
I'm
no, no.
hearing, it was gossip at first. Like
Wait
somebody
a
was
minute.
saying
But no,
something, but she
what I'm
didn't
saying
believe it.
is, remember the police had came
What
to
tipped the
her,
police off?
and
Yeah.
the police had came to her and say, "Hey, we are investigating your husband on
Right.
The
XYZ,"
parent.
and she
Well,
didn't. And I'm assuming she didn't believe the police, but it wasn't until one of the parents came and she was like, she could see the pain in the parent eyes, and that's what made her be like, "Oh,
well,
this
see,
shit is
and
real."
this is something that happens a lot within childcare, whether it's school or daycares. Often, and there's a reason that there's a school police, and this may not affect her because she's not classified as a school. But like in school, the protocol is to go to the school police. But because often when that happens, principals don't want stuff to get out, districts don't want stuff to get out to the news, they sweep it under the rug. So parents have a tendency of going directly to the police. So at this point, from what I was hearing, she did not hear it directly. It was like a little whisper,
Mhm.
but she didn't believe it to be true because it was her husband. She didn't think he would do it. The parents, because nothing happened, they went to the police. And when they came to her, it was just an investigation. It's not like they're gonna take him to jail. They have, when there's a child involved, they have to investigate. So that's what they were under. It wasn't until one of the parents came to her directly and told her what happened.
So my
And that's when
question
she
is,
believed it. I don't know why it was a difference, but
is he, because it said he's awaiting investigation. So is he awaiting a trial free, or is he
no,
waiting?
he's in jail.
Okay.
He's in jail right now.
Yeah, he's in jail. He's in jail.
He's being charged, but I think like I want to say 30 some charges right now, and that's all the children and the amount of times it happened. So he's been charged with that. So he's in jail at this point. A CPS investigation is when like like if CPS was involved, it would just be an investigation. But because they call the police, it goes to CPS, but it's still I got to figure out what happened because it was probably just a bunch of children saying this was happening, and it probably wasn't all the children. It probably like one family. So they have to investigate. It's not like they gonna go lock him up right away. But because this all happened, that made all the other parents come out and say something, which it shouldn't. Because how many parents just wasn't gonna say anything and just take their child out of that
Right,
daycare?
exactly. That's what I want to know.
Which is,
That's
but
what I want to
sometimes you
know.
don't want your child on the news. You don't want your child you know, to be, singled out. And that's why a lot of people don't say anything, but it's still a problem. Like, I don't, I'm not saying I wish she would not have done that. I understand, but we can't make that our go to because then that means when the pendulum swings the other way, if somebody thinks something about one of our children or one of us, they can take that measure as well. That's why I'm on the fence with it, but I'm leaning to follow the proper protocol and it'll save you trouble. Yeah, your reputation probably will suffer. People will probably pull their children out of that center, but you follow the proper protocol. Nobody can blame you for that or look bad at you because now she's probably lost her license.
Right. Right. That's That's a hard one, especially if that's your career and you've been working towards that and you done pretty
Right.
much put your whole life into that one business.
Hmm.
That's a hard thing to deal with because now, once hopefully she doesn't have to serve those full 4 years, but once she comes out, I mean, if that's all her life what she's been doing and what she knows, it's like she got to start all over.
But
Right.
if she didn't properly paperwork him in, she could possibly lose her license forever. Now I believe they closed it down during the investigation, and then she did this, and that's probably why she lost it because daycare providers make a lot of money per week. So once they did that, that probably shut off all of her funding, and people started pulling their children out. So, uh,
That's crazy. And the one thing about me is that one thing when, my kids were in the age when they would go to daycare, one thing I would stay clear away from is the daycare houses, like the houses that provided daycare. I will always put that as a red flag, but that's a whole facility. That's a
yeah.
whole freaking facility. And you would never, as a parent, just think, but I guess you got to. You got to think about who you leaving your kids with. I
And
remember when I
it
was
really just depends. Some of the housing ones probably more safer than the facilities.
I
The
always
large,
felt like they the ones
yeah.
that bring the cousins and the uncles and have anybody working out of there.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
but there are guidelines to how it's supposed to be something separate from the house. It's not supposed to, and people just that's why I was saying follow
Yeah, it's
proper
supposed to be in a
protocol.
separate. Yeah, it's supposed to be in a separate area from the
It's
house.
supposed to have its own entrance, everything.
That's true. I have an aunt
Let's talk
in North
about our
Carolina.
next subject, y'all. Let's get into depressing.
It is,
Worse
especially
than
when you
that.
got
Now,
kids.
depression. Let's talk about Black women and how we function in depression, honey.
What's the other? What's the next story?
Black women and how we function with depression.
We just do.
A lot of people discredit black women and say this just lazy. I think it's a cultural thing because a lot of us grew up where we never had any idle time or any time to rest. It was always something to do. There was always something to clean. There's always something to be done. And this is why I put functioning depression, because in our culture, we normalize work, 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 work. We instilled work, 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 work. Become an entrepreneur. People who are single moms, you're trying to move up the corporate ladder. We're in constant go mode. We do not prioritize rest. So it starts to show up as depression. There's fatigue. You're stressed. There's brain fog. You can't do simple tasks. It's deeper than being lazy, trust me.
So I came across this video and it resonated with me because I can't honestly think of a time in my life where I had idle time. And by that I mean for a long period of time. Even when I can say, you know what, when I had a job and my job ended, or when I was working at Easy Pass and the contract ended, I still was like, what the fuck do I do? I need to figure out some things. My mind was on constant go mode. My mind was constantly going. It was constantly pushing me to do different things. And it was just like, I can't really remember at a time where I had complete rest. You know, I can't think of a time. Even from when I was younger, you got to think about it. Like, it was instilled in me at 5 years old. Start washing dishes, start cleaning the bathroom, start doing this, start doing that. And it's like, I cannot think of a time where I really had in my life where I had complete rest. I can't think of it. And I wouldn't call it depression. I would just call it go mode. I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly going. I'm constantly moving. Like, I just really can't think of a time where I really had the time to be like, oh, I can breathe now. Like, this feels good.
I
I don't
feel
know.
you.
How about you?
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I definitely can agree with that. Anytime I have a day off, my mind is on go because I feel like I am forgetting something. I feel like if I'm on vacation and I'm supposed to be on vacation, I feel like I cannot relax. I'm
Mhm.
constantly
Yep.
on my phone in my notes with a notepad trying to think of a million things that I could be doing. It's almost like you feel like you don't deserve that rest or that vacation. Do you feel
Oh
like
my
that?
God. Yes. 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 That's
I
how I feel like
definitely,
when I went to Jamaica last year, my mind could not fully grasp. Or even when I went to Punta Cana, I can honestly think like these beautiful places I've been. I can honestly say my mind was not at ease. My mind was not at rest. My body might have been there, and I might have been turning up, but mentally, my mind had a trillion thoughts a second. Like I could be doing
that
this.
you could
I
be
could be doing
doing.
this. Do I deserve to be here? Do I need to be here? I need to be home. This, that, and the third happened. This, da, 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 da. I gotta go back home to this. I gotta go think about this. And it was just like I never really had a time where I was like, bitch, bask in what the hell you are doing. Bask in this glory. Bask in you in this beautiful place on this beautiful island with this amazing weather, having fun with your friends, and you were just like, I'm here physically, but mentally, I'm checked the fuck out.
I
Is
don't like.
can I ask both of y'all a question? Is it how do we fix that continuous need to move where we can attach all types of stuff, slavery, rocky foundations as a child growing into an adult, you know you, being black, like this everything, but at some point it's gonna crash down on you. So how
It
do
is.
you all prevent that, or how have you been putting that off to
I
crash?
I definitely was gonna say that after BlackRoses finished in her statement, like it really just touched something in me just now because I recently got to a point where like just everything it crashed and I just feel angry all the time.
Mm.
Like I feel angry and I don't know how like I'm not crying on here.
But
What?
does that anger feel more like resentment? Does it feel like
No, she
frustration?
crying. Not tough guy is
It's,
crying. I love
but
that
that's
for you though.
and that's why I cut in for a second,
Oh, she
because
crying.
I think this
Okay, never mind.
season that we're in right now, you see the strongest people breaking, because the
Mm-hmm.
expectation that as black people we gotta just, it's something wrong with you if you can't get it together. And that is something that I see constantly, us competing with each other to the point of exhaustion, and the strongest people I'm finding many of us breaking in this moment. And
That's
it's
true.
real. And I'm saying, even with you all with children, I feel, I see the guilt in you. I see the panic, the anxiety, the need to keep up with, and all of that is just is coming down on us. And I feel, I feel your pain in this moment, because it's real. Like what you're feeling right now is a real feeling. It is ultimately reality right now. Prices is rising. You trying to, speaking specifically for you, and you trying to do better for your family unit. You're moving, thinking you're doing something better, but you're moving into a state that is against your children or against the family structure of a black family. And
Right.
it feels like no matter where you turn, you getting daggers.
Right.
And the hurtful part is we're not community enough for people to fall into comfort,
Right.
or to, be in a space that is a real, it's real. We can't be strong every day.
You
You
right.
can't be Superwoman. I can't be Superman. It has to stop. It has to,
Right.
or we all go crash and burn.
We are definitely. I literally I found myself like I said, I found myself like being really angry and not knowing where the anger came from or why I was so just like angry, where I just had to take a second and kind of sit back or find a room to just go in or just taking a walk or just finding
You need a hug.
somewhere. I don't need no hug. Don't you hug me.
You need a hug.
But see, Kay, that
I'm
wall
so
has to
mad
be
I
broken
missed it.
down.
I'm so mad I missed thugged out Miss Kaya over here. Miss Thug, Mrs. Crime. I can't believe
Mister.
You can take her off the
we had a
screen. I'm
breakthrough
done.
moment up in here,
But
y'all.
I'm saying for me, you have to break down that wall and allow people to help you heal. You can't carry that load by yourself. You got to remove people who aren't about the business of promoting you and uplifting you. And you got to get through that. I don't want to be touched. That's a horrible feeling for me. I don't like people touching me, but that's the only way we're going to get through these things. And as uncomfortable as it is now, I let people hug me and love on me, and the whole time I'm counting down 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, done. But we have to get into a space where we're comfortable with not only self love, but out love outside of ourselves. It's so foreign to us
Right.
because we as Black people have.
I know. I just feel like
That's
it might be. I feel like it's an agenda. Like, why you hugging me? What's your agenda? What you?
But again, that's learned behavior. That's not just something out of the blue. That's learned behavior because people have loved on us with an agenda or intention connected to it, and that's trust. I think she jokingly said Gemini, but I think for us we feel that more than anybody else, and we show it more than anybody else. But we have to change that behavior. And I'm saying to you, like, I understand it, but get over it.
No, not get over it.
That's the only thing.
Work through it. Work through it. You are allowed to break down. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to scream and yell and do whatever you have to do so you can release that stress, tension, and misplaced anger that you receive. Now, for the people that laugh at everything, those are the ones hurting more than you know. Yep. You're going through. We are all going through it. We will prevail. Listen.
Yep.
I am totally, and my heart is smiling, honey, because we got KD on this show to open up her feelings, child. Y'all know she like to hold up that wall, but I totally understand where you're coming from. Sometimes it just feel like, God damn. Like
Another thing.
Another one.
Read Achilles' statement.
Achilles said, holding them feelings in won't benefit you or your family. Trust. I'm a thug too. Trust me. I know. LMAO. Listen. Yeah. Those be the toughest ones. The toughest ones be about to damn near break and lose their goddamn mind. And y'all be like, oh, the crybabies are always so sensitive. Y'all so sensitive. Nah, bitch. Listen, if I don't cry about it, bitch, I'm gonna kill somebody. That's just how I am. If I don't cry about it, if I don't let this anger out of me right now, if I hold this anger in me, somebody is going to die in 10 seconds. And that's
what Shantira Weems said, I snapped. I'm gonna snap.
I snap. If I don't cry about it, I'm gonna snap. If I don't get a chance to let my feelings out and my anger out, I'm gonna fucking snap. I'm
gonna say, like, that is a real thing, and depending on how you deal with stress or depression, call it what it is. Everything ain't anger. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's resentment. Sometimes it's anxiety. Call it what it is. We can't keep putting blanket statements on stuff. Call it as it is.
Heavy on the resentment.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Heavy on the resentment. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's not. Okay, we thugs. We soft as thugs, and we have to admit to that. And it's something that you have to, I thought this year was like, God, what else can you take away? Like, what else can you do? What else can you, like this, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like, what line did I sign up for by mistake? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put my name on that list.
Right.
We can't do that. You know, but yeah, just feel it. It's real. This is spring. Clean it out.
Right. For me, it's just trying to find like, which I know y'all hate that word. Y'all been joking about it since that boy said it. My love language, peace.
Why do you? But why do you think I was fighting for it so much?
That's
Right. It's a
Because
feeling.
we think that feeling of wanting peace is that's a given. No, it's not for many people.
For many people, you know what? You're right. For many people, it's not.
Don't agree with it now. No.
Right.
She
She was
want to hear
100%.
this out. How did you ask for peace? What does that mean? Peace.
She ain't got no peace. She ain't got no peace.
Chill the
That's
fuck
why
out.
she ain't got no
But
damn
that's
peace.
but that's what
You know
and that was my point.
I'm gonna be 100%
Let's
transparent.
see her attitude
When
when
I
she moves.
started realizing that I need peace in my life, not as a love language, but just as a general requirement for my life, things for me have been totally different. Sometimes you may want to intentionally take the time to tap into them emotions. Listen to some music that you know will make you cry. Watch a movie that will bring them tears out. Let them feelings, emotions out, so they won't negatively dictate your actions later. That's heavy.
We're gonna invite Akila on soon. I definitely will be trying to get her to come on these platforms with us. But we're gonna invite her on. So she's a local maker and artist in Baltimore, and she is a businesswoman. So we're
I
definitely gonna
love
reach
it.
out to her.
I love it. I love it. That's some good insight right there. You need that. Take that and write that down. I'm a sad, so when I reach my boiling point, I will get reckless. Yeah. People out here fighting for peace. Listen.
No, but you had to come. I'm gonna send that show to her. Send that show to her.
Don't let her say nothing about no peace.
Right.
I'm a soul believer.
No, no. We gonna send that. We gonna replay. I'm gonna replay that show. I'm gonna re-premiere that show this coming week.
Just her part about peace. Her whole part and her whole.
Her and your sister. Her and your sister. Don't forget about your sister.
I'm saying peace. I'm saying peace is a prerequisite for my life if you want to be involved in it, period. And that means that involves family members, love life, friendships, or whatever. Right. If you're not coming with some sense of peace, and I'm not saying just like in my relationship, I'm talking about all together, any type of friendship, any type of life that you have with me, if you're coming and you want to be a part of this life with Crystal, whatever that journey looks like for us, you have to come with some type of peace. You have
and not even joking, you all, but I understood it. But you and Kay's sister, you came at it as, oh, that's a given. Give me something more. Give me something more. But it's not a given for everybody. It has not been a given for everybody's journey. Depending on who they had in their life, who wasn't at peace. So if I'm not at peace, nigga, you not gonna be at peace. You gonna suffer like I'm suffering, nigga. And that's people are begging for that now. People are dying without peace, literally.
But
that's all they just want, and they don't know how to put it into words. They don't know how to put that in words,
or just don't know how to don't know how to just live in that peaceful moment. Like me, like I said, for me, I live 5 minutes outside of the beach. We go to the beach all the time, and that's my go-to. That's like my just my sense of relief. But like I said, lately it's just like
it's not enough.
It's my head. It's like this. This is my brain. This is my brain.
But that's called unresolved issues, though. Okay, that's stuff that you have not resolved. That's stuff that you have not made a priority to get through, and you're doing everything but you. Everything but you. You being a mom. You being a daughter now. You not now, but you with your mom. I'm just saying you have You have more responsibilities because you're
Girl, you
with
don't
her
want
now.
nothing
So
but
now
no
you're
peace.
making sure she's okay.
I'm biggest
You
girl,
making
not
sure
the
your
game.
husband's okay. You making sure your husband's group is okay. Like you're doing the show, everything. And if you don't handle or prioritize the things that are affecting you, none of this is going to matter. And you're going to be forced to take a break from it or let it go. And before you have to let go, and I'm speaking from current examples, don't let the universe or God or whatever you may call your higher power have to take stuff away from you so you can focus on you. Because that's going to hurt you more than what your actual problem is. Because now I don't have these outlets,
That's
I
true.
don't have these platforms. So deal and prioritize the things that are on your shoulders now. And
How do
and
you deal with it?
Crystal talk a lot, but she laugh everything off. But we know she still got them walls up to. What was you about to say? I'm sorry.
How do you deal with it, Nate?
I'm telling you right now. So how I'm learning to deal with it, is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
learning. How are you learning? Right.
So I set goal points. So why turning 40 is so wild for me? One, because I don't feel 40, I don't look 40. It's nothing about my life that says you going into your 40s.
40. And who said
But
40 is older though?
I'll say the unhealthy way how I dealt with it, I turn everything off. Being real transparent. I what was that? What's the day? Saturday, Thursday was the first day that I set foot in my studio since January the 21st.
Mm.
Wow.
Now I'm there every day, all day. The owner said to me, what's going on? To the point where she was ready to give my space away, and I have to now go and renegotiate with her. But being transparent for me, I have dealt with it in a very unhealthy way. I just hide from it. I hide. I don't push it away. I go and hide. And I deal with me in a way, and that's not healthy because we're Geminis. We're big communicators. So for
Right.
you not to be communicating is going to affect you.
Right.
The way that I'm
Right.
learning to deal with it is address it when it's a problem. However someone else feels about it, however else someone decides to deal with your or react to it, that then becomes their issue. If this is a problem, if it's affecting me, I have to say it. And I can't do it anymore. But that's how I'm learning to deal with it. Get the help. Ask for help. You are
Somebody,
not superwoman.
somebody
Right.
named BT
Yes, and I
BT
think I
Boston
think
said,
that
"Let me in." Let you in where?
Let me get
no,
in.
no.
Oh, okay.
Put Akila's comment back up there real quick. Life is constant healing work. We're never going to be completely done. So when these
Mm-mm.
things we dealt with resurface, we feel inadequate sometimes. Like, whoa, I thought I dealt with that, and nope, it's a constant work. And many times we have to change our tools up. I'm not telling you this as some guru, but I'm telling you this because life been making me and
Yep.
most a lot
Yep.
recently, and I acknowledge I got to sit and continue to work on healing. That's the thing about healing. Once healing is never a complete thing. It's just like, imagine somebody that's on drugs. Even though they've been free from drugs for 20 something years, it's a constant battle. That's what healing
Right.
is. Healing is a constant thing. You can't just
I'm
say,
a,
okay, I've done the work, I cried about it, now I'm
I'm
done.
healed.
Hell
I'm gonna
no.
Right.
say
That's
to you,
not how it goes.
I'm a challenge you on that, Black Roses, and I'm gonna say healing is not consistent. Healing is
Healing is
something you're
not
supposed to achieve. Growing is a
growing.
consistent. Learning
Mhm.
is a consistent. But if we're in this perpetual movement of healing, that's where we get trauma bonding from. That's where we
Right,
get
exactly.
trauma porn
Exactly.
from. That's where we get those things. And I'm not an expert, but just in my experience with people, if you're in a constant state of healing, now heal, because it can be consistent, but healing is the same as, hustling. So if I continue to heal and I'm always healing, when am I ever going to grow? When am I ever going? That's just like
I like how you
picking
just put
the
that
picking the
comment there.
scab and playing with the wound. It's never going to heal. You will keep reinfecting it until gangrene set in. They got to cut that shit off. Like you at some point you have to be okay with where you are in your healing so you can grow from that moment, learn from that moment, and be able to move on from that moment. But if you're always healing, I'm always in this that's where the woke community is coming out at. That's why people are looking at them strange, because they're forever growing. I mean, healing. Like at some point, baby, heal. Healing is perpetual movement, but you could be running in place. And that's what continuously healing, and you're not growing and learning from what that thing was that broke you in the first place. But if you just deal with it, like, okay, let's address it, let's deal with it. And everything ain't that point, because what may take you 5 minutes may take me a year or two.
It
But
does.
grow in your time. But just
does.
actually heal. Like put a period on it. Baby, it's done. I won't go back to that marriage no more. I won't go back to that person that keeps hurting me, or that friendship that keeps hurt. I'm not gonna keep going back to that. But that's what healing is. Because healing, you'll get away from them, and then you'll go back. So I'm healing. No, you're not, baby. You are running in place.
You are running in place.
So David has never been like this before, but I don't know what I did. I did something the other day, and I walked in the room, and he's never now. BlackRoses, you know David, you know his attitude, you know his mind frame. But I walked in the room and I said something, and it wasn't in a negative way. Well, I didn't think it was in a negative way, but you know what he did? He actually stopped me, and he said, "You know what?
Pump your brakes.
Coming in here with this negativity, and you just this negative energy, you're gonna have to start over." And I was like, wait, what? When you started thinking about energy and positivity and stuff like that, and just the way he said it, I was like, he is growing. He's growing.
You better
and I
grow.
kind of like that, because if both of us are working towards growth together, it's a lot better than one person trying to heal and grow and the other person not thinking anything is wrong.
But you got to communicate that growth too, because that's where divorces and separations or anger come from. Because I'm doing all this growing, and what you doing? Or when did you grow? Or when did this person come?
And that's exactly the conversation that we had. When I came back, I did leave, because I was like, it threw me off. I was like, I don't want to be around you. You're going to tell me I'm negative. And I walked out. But when I came back and we actually sat down and talked, he was like, no, I'm just not, I'm growing. I'm getting older. I will cut out anybody that got negativity and putting me in a negative space, making me feel a certain way. I don't want it anymore. So if you not thinking and we're not on the same page, then I need to basically grow past you. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying in a sense? I can't put it exactly like he put it.
You have to grow apart from something. If a part of you is not working, you got to let it go.
But I felt like that was a threat, like a divorce threat, and I kind of feel like, okay, it's like I know it wasn't, but
I'm gonna be honest, it may not have been his thought, but ultimately, if things don't change, that may become a thought.
Right. But that was the conversation.
I mean, that's the dude in you. You now thinking like a dude. You got to put your lady hat back on and be like, well, bitch, that is a divorce threat. Now the line is going to be, because y'all start premeditating these things years in advance. And one day you just move out and the car is empty.
He come home from work and all the shit gone.
No, I thought it was awesome, and I just like the space. Like I ultimately like the fact that we are finally both in agreement that things do need to change, not specifically within our relationships, but just the people around us. It seemed like a lot of the people around us, particularly family, not my family, I'm just gonna put it out there, but particularly it's like It is. That was his biggest way down. And I hated it for him. That his biggest way down was his family, and the fact that he's able to step away from it and say, no, I figured it out. Y'all got to move and move, kind of move on. I like that. Like BlackRoses told me, I like that for him. Because I thought I can't, I don't know. I just move on for somebody watching this and then call me.
So I want to say, when it comes to healing, I need my black men. I need y'all to do some healing, because the way that y'all dragged Sierra about this fucking dress is mind-boggling. I am so sick and tired of y'all in this Sierra hate train that y'all got going on. And it's like, you got the pick-meshas who are right behind it. Like, we always enrich people's business, and we ain't got no, I ain't got no business being in their business. I'll play the video. I don't know. Play the video. I just can't. I don't know if it have a sound.
It had music, so I couldn't play it.
Okay, so this is the dress that she wore to a Vanity Fair Oscars party.
And I done seen worse than that.
The niggas are niggering, and they are in an uproar because
Well, you gonna see the rest of them. I'm gonna play the other one too.
I done seen worse than that at the Met Gala.
Exactly.
So this is the wait a minute, hold on. So this is the next video. I'm gonna play the next one, and you will see the other people who were also there that night.
Kim Kardashian. Look at the way she dressed anytime she go anywhere.
Look at what they wore. Look at their clothes. Look at their revealing clothes.
Look at the color. Look at their skin color.
But
no, it was some black. It was some black. It was other black women there.
Did you see Janelle Monáe's dress?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Doja Cat? I don't know. I don't think it was Doja Cat. It was one.
Do you think they made such a? Do you think? But the people that you naming are single. Do you think that they made a big fuss about it because she's married, and because of the
I'm gonna say that anything that Sierra does, they make a big fuss about it because they hate to see that this woman is thriving and flourishing in her greatness. All the videos that I have seen were talking about how Russell Wilson is a simp for marrying her. And it's like, you act like she was a single mother with 4 and 5 kids. Because y'all know y'all hate, black men hate single mothers. Let me stop. Some of y'all black men hate single mothers. And they're like, oh,
Don't do it.
I know how you like to ride for your niggas.
You like to ride for them too.
Listen, it was like, oh, she ain't supposed to be dressed like that. Russell Wilson should have left her in the streets where she belonged. She belonged to the streets. She that. And it's, you know what pisses me off about this whole conversation and her clothes? Nobody bats a fucking eye when Ice-T wife Coco. I have never seen that bitch with clothes on. I ain't never seen Coco with no clothes on. Never.
So let's break it down. Because one, black people, we don't care about any of the other people, races. It's us. So for the last couple years, and I'm not defending them, but Sierra, and because it was women that was going after her mostly. It wasn't until the women started posting it that the men started even talking.
Yeah, talking about their wife and if that was.
But so the image that they put out, which is not bad, the image that they put out, we sometimes put people on pedestals, and that becomes our go-to. We can't do that with Jay-Z and Beyonce no more because Jay-Z cheated. We can't do that with Jada and Will anymore because Jada cheated, and then Will slapped the shit out of somebody. So we put people on pedestals and we look for things to jingle them with. Like, I'm gonna take away, oh, look at her, I'm gonna take away that part, and we wait for the fall. So put that to the side. In addition to that, we can't act like people who used to dress like this were at the highest moral standard. We can't do that. So now that people are finding beauty in themselves, because just on the other extreme, Lizzo is wearing these types of things as well. But now Sierra, you don't gotta wear nothing like that. You pretty already. You don't gotta get attention.
You know they bashed Lizzo in the back of her head for that, honey.
Right, but we knock people off pedestals for this. And one of the things that I've heard the most, oh, I thought she was Miss Christian now.
Exactly.
And look at how she's dressing. But she's not a pastor.
She's not a pastor's wife.
She's not a pastor's wife.
And
She's a person that speaks.
And the way that
I was about to bring that up. I was about to bring that up because that's the first thing that they started saying was, wasn't she just praying 3 days ago? Like, God damn.
And mind you, it wasn't the Christian, but it was
the same thing.
To your point, it wasn't even the Christian community saying that. It was another reason for people to hate Christians.
Yeah,
it was the hoes. It was the hoes already.
I feel like it was another reason for people to hate Sierra. I'm telling you, the hate that this woman gets is like no other, and it's really
look where it's coming from. Look where it's coming from.
Black women.
They hate her like they don't
in general. But
they don't
black people in general though.
It's coming from the black community.
I think it's because they don't have the. I think it's because they don't have the same lifestyle. Because if you pay attention, this man praises the heck out of Sierra.
It's about the lifestyle. It is really genuinely, and I'm
the relationship.
This is my opinion. It's really genuinely about the fact that they deem her as a ran through female who got wifed by a baller that they assumed she would never get wifed because she was a single mother, had a baby by a nigga that had five kids already, and she ran through because she been with Bow Wow, she been with 50 Cent, she been with Future, and they feel like, oh, why would Russell Wilson go wife her up? She a piece of trash. Because you gotta think, when she got wifed or when they got married, it was during the time where it was the hate single black women train, single black mother train, and it's like now she done got, as they deem her as washed up and ran through. How is that even fucking possible? It's like, oh, see, she for the streets. You see, she ghetto, she this, she that. And it's like, hold the fuck up. Where is all of this coming from? I don't care about nobody's relationship. I got my own life. They human just like us. These females can dress how they want. Who cares? And that's the thing. People, who cares? Why do y'all care so much about her dressing? If you just go on TikTok alone and type in Sierra, you will literally see every negative video about what this girl wore, about how people feel about her.
I think it's when they,
like you said, it comes mainly.
But you also, but you know it's specific because there were other. So the Vanity Fair party theme was barely there.
Exactly. That's how you know it's specific.
But also look at where it's coming from. It's coming from us. This is what we do to each other. So, Kay, when your husband was talking about growing, this is the difference between healing and growing. And often these random people that we see online saying it, these were other celebrities saying it. Yeah. It was other people who could possibly know her that were saying it on their talk shows and such like that. But this is why these are the people that are typically in our spaces. Now, I mean, it was Vanity Fair is a fashion magazine.
Some people say like, oh, the dress is ugly. It wasn't even about the dress being ugly because it wasn't even like she did something wrong. Look at Rihanna when Rihanna did it. When Rihanna wore that dress, what did she wear? Did she wear it to the Met Gala when she had on a similar dress like that and it was silver and she was just ass naked under the dress? At least Sierra had
because she was receiving. I think it was a award show because she was receiving Icon Fashion Award or something like that.
Tiana Taylor too. Tiana Taylor wore a dress outfit similar to that too.
They're not gonna bash Tiana Taylor because Tiana Taylor is married. She only been with one person. She only got one husband. Both of her kids are by the same man. You see where I'm going there with that? They're not gonna bash Tiana Taylor. Just like with Beyonce. Beyonce had on a similar dress too. Just like the one that Sierra wore. I think it was maybe a couple of war shows ago, maybe a couple years ago. Beyonce had on the same exact dress, kind of like in the same concept. Nobody better than I. Nobody better than fucking I. It's really about Sierra and the hate train that they have for this woman. It's really.
Do you feel like it would have been more of a big deal if she wore that dress when she was with Future versus wearing the dress with
They
Russell?
would have applauded her for wearing that when she was with Future.
That's what I.
And if you even look back into if people even look back into her catalog, she's a dancer. She's always dressed like dancers dress, barely any fabric, or something really skin tight. Like this is not. It hurts
nothing
me
new.
because
It's nothing new for her.
it's like it's not even the outskirt comments. This stuff typically comes from inside. The call normally comes from inside of the house. Like that's where it normally comes from. And we continue to do this to each other because one, we just can't. But we hate on each other. And
Right.
it's so hard because I just don't understand promoting stuff that you don't like. I don't understand promoting. And everybody, first of all, they were saying she went to the Oscars like this. How dare she to the one of the most prestigious nights of the year? Once again, pandering to white culture and pandering to their standards. White people
That's what I was about to say, Jerome.
Animalistic
They get
creatures.
paid to wear these dresses. Somebody said
Vanity
that
Fair, the Vanity Fair
just to wear a
Oscar
dress,
party.
and y'all on here mad as shit about it.
But the Vanity Fair is a fashion magazine.
Exactly. Like, look
So
at this
you
dress
would want
Beyonce
to
has.
be.
Nobody says anything. She got her nipples, she got on pasties and everything. But this is Sierra. But the dress that Beyonce has on, you can see her. You can see her pasties. Look at her pasties. You can see her pasties.
I hated how they then compared her, and they didn't compare her to any of the other women who were dressed like that. They compared her to women who came with other types of dresses on that night. Other married women who came to that, and it's just an ugly thing, and we applaud that. We push those narratives. So the bigger, wider platforms, they just see what we doing and then they push it.
Right.
So now that's inappropriate.
Right.
Now, personally, would I want my nieces and stuff like that dressed like that? No. But I'm not judging Sierra either. I just want my niece to walk out the house or my sister to walk out the house looking like that.
Listen,
that's me personally.
Saying, and then the second thing is,
listen, if I'm a celebrity and this is the easiest $5,000 I made, I'm gonna take that 5,000, 10,000, and I'm just saying 5,000 is definitely a low ball. But she probably got paid thousands of dollars to wear a fucking dress. I'm putting the shit on. I don't care what you say. My thing is, people be caught up in these celebrity lives so much and ain't even in their fucking text breaking to even comment on their life. Ain't even in the text breaking.
My biggest thing is the biggest thing that I wanted to just say was when it comes to our community, we don't like seeing the success of our own people. We just don't like
They don't like seeing the success of single mothers. That's just what it is. And I'm gonna call it what it is. I'm gonna just call it what it is.
But that means if he had
all about her persona, how she came about, how she begged this simp that black man made up this word simp. Because what the fuck is a simp? It's just a man loving and caring on his wife. What the fuck he's supposed to dog her out? That's what I'm saying. Like, who came up with this word simp? That shit irritates my soul. Because I'm like, you calling a man a simp for loving and caring on his wife? What the fuck he's supposed to be whipping her ass and dragging her through the dirt?
Right. If you're a celebrity, you are.
What is a
That's
simp?
what they used to seeing.
What is a
That's
simp?
what they used to seeing. If you're a celebrity, you are. Because that's what they used to seeing in these it's particularly within these athletes, these African American athletes. That's what they used to seeing. They used to seeing bad comments, bad things behind them, abusing their significant other, or they got caught with domestic violence complaint.
That's normal to us, though. That becomes normal to our personal lives. Oh, if she'd have showed up at BET like that, she'd have been best dressed. Oh, Look at her. Oh, she is doing it. And it's one side is a lot of hate, but on the other side is us pandering to white audience. How dare her go to this white event dressed like that? Oh, she is so this is terrible.
But I'm bothered by the fact that if the same event any of the Kardashians could have went to with that same dress on. And we as African Americans, like, we continue to follow these damn Kardashians. Yeah, I got a vendetta against these Kardashians. I'm sorry I keep bringing them up, but I can't stand how we follow
They
them.
wouldn't dare drag Kim Kardashian. They wouldn't dare drag her.
I can't stand how they just follow and fall in place behind them in their products, and they steadily stealing products and trends and culture from us, and y'all acting like it's new. It's irritating. But again, like, if it was one of them and they went to that same event, oh, it would have been the new trend, the new fashion trend.
The new trend. So the new trend happening now is for, and it's not new, but it's something that's starting to be more noticeable. So there's a video out of K Michelle. K Michelle has went and got lip injections. She's got her nose done. She's gotten some facial reconstruction done. You can tell she's not the same.
Like
she doesn't
white
look
She don't look like it, yeah.
I looked at this,
like a whole
right. I looked at this
Another
music
one.
video 6 times, and I could not see her. Like I heard her voice, but I could not see her. I couldn't. It was so crazy just listening to her. But this is us trying to be like that. I'm not saying Sierra is doing that, but what I'm saying is it's at a space where we either want to pander to them and bash our own people, or just don't. It's just horrible. It's very uncomfortable for how we commentate on things. And I know we're talking about the stories too, but it's just very uncomfortable hearing men or women talk about each other like that. Yet, like you said, pull up the Kardashians, who have done nothing but jack culture. Now all of a sudden,
and we got our own culture from them.
Right, and now all of a sudden, one of the Kardashians are a lesbian. I think it's Kylie. She's all of a sudden she's been filmed or photographed kissing a girl. So now
you wouldn't dare them calling her ran through.
Any of the Kardashians, that's what I was bringing up. Any of the Kardashians. That's a topic. That's a topic. They said, why I saw it on social media. Why aren't they considered baby mamas? Was the question.
Because they
it was an interview on Jason Lee's show with China, and he asked her, well, funny how you're considered a baby mama, but they aren't.
They aren't.
Mm-hmm.
They've never been called a baby mama, even by us.
Ever.
Nope. Never. Interesting. Very interesting. Speaking of interesting and baby mamas and relationships, let's go into our last one. We are programmed to be hateful towards our own people, and that's the thing. That's why we can't never get nowhere. That's why we can't never get nowhere, because we are being really hateful towards each other. I really want to touch on something real quick about this Sierra shit. This girl I follow on Facebook, she made a post about the Sierra situation, and the black men that dragged her is ridiculous. And I'm trying to find it really quick. So she made a post about the Sierra situation. She has gotten so many. She had like over 1,000 and something comments about it. And when she posted the same picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce up against Sierra and Future with the same dress on, 3 comments. 3 comments. And I wanted to tag all the men who were on her post from the day before. Like, yeah, this is it. Nope. I didn't even do it because I ain't got time, because these men are crazy. But speaking of relationships, we're going to talk about these polyamorous relationships. These relationships are popping up everywhere. Right. Everywhere you see now on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
It's so normal.
It's a normal now. Polyamorous couples. Where in the relationship, it's a man with 2 girlfriends or 3 girlfriends, or that I seen one where a dude, he had a stud for a girlfriend and It was crazy. It's just crazy. I don't know if Nate.
Yeah, he had a stud girlfriend.
Huh?
I don't have that. You didn't send me that link.
It's the last video.
The last one was a duplicate. You sent me the same one twice.
That's weird. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I know what you're talking about though. The video that where the guy was, I guess he was bisexual. I don't know what you consider that when he's dating a male, but then he's dating a dominant female. I don't know what you consider that. I don't know.
I guess that's still considered bisexual if she considers herself female, if she identifies as
But what would you
female.
call it if she don't?
If she was, confusing.
What?
But those relationships exist. There are straight identified or gay identified men who date trans men. And that's a person who was born female who now identifies as a male. And there are trans women and drag queens that date trans men. Like these things are not new. They're just more acceptable in terms of you sharing it now. And
I just feel like there's a guy who is on social media. He's kind of like the guy from Sister Wives. His name is Brother Polite. And Brother Polite has a plethora of women, wives, whatever you want to call it. And he is, I guess, deemed wealthy or whatever. And it comes down to the point of where women are now asking the question, is it more financially, how can I say it? Not responsible, but is it more of a financial benefit if I go ahead and jump into this polyamorous relationship because I have a job, she has a job, he has a job. We put our money together and now we're this wealthy couple or this wealthy being, let's just say. Is that more of a financial benefit for me now? Or is it one of them things where I'm doing this because I really love him? You know, myself, I've had a couple of friends who, I don't even talk to that whole no more, but she got a girlfriend for her boyfriend essentially because she felt like that would keep him interested or keep him where he needs to be. But I feel like people are doing it for all the wrong reasons. Me, myself, personally, I ain't sharing my nigga with nobody. I'm sorry.
I think it's because it's another trend.
I'm not sharing my nigga with nobody. I don't care who it is. I don't care what kind of trend we have.
I think it's because it's another trend.
You think about it now. Look at Young Miami. She's kind of in the polyamorous relationship with Diddy.
Well, I think the trend is not new. I think the trend of being in one is not new. The trend of showcasing it is. Because back in time, grandma knew that granddad had another family on the other side of the city.
They knew their position.
Exactly.
They
I literally had this conversation with somebody the other day. Literally had the same conversation.
They knew it. Like this not happening. Them Rolling Stone fathers knew it. Those mothers that was having babies claiming that it was the husband's when it was really the son. Like those things happen. And the husband like, well, I might as well just raise them. Well, those things happen. And they have been happening. I think what is unfortunate, we have begun to adopt very surface level African traditions and make them American. Meaning, and I'm saying to you, if anybody proposes to me bringing in somebody else, I'm not going to say what I would do because I want to surprise them when it happens, but just know it ain't going down. Like, that's just not my nature. But it's also financially benefit to live in a house with 10 other people splitting all the bills. That's still beneficial, right? But how long are you going to deal with that?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So at some point, bitch, I gotta go, or 9 of y'all gotta go.
Right.
My thing is this. There's no way that you can be possibly thinking that you're giving me the same love and attention that you giving her. And it's no way that these people don't get jealous. Like, I really want to interview a couple. Like, I really want to ask the really hard questions. Like, or do you find yourself getting jealous? Do you feel like there's no such thing as a faithful relationship, not in this lifetime, and that's why I will never get in one again? There is no such thing as a faithful relationship.
No, that's not true, because that's disrespectful to the partners who have been together for years. Has something happened in those relationships? Maybe. But it's not, is an excuse not to be faithful to somebody. To say, well, ain't no relationship faithful, so why would I be faithful? That's no excuse.
No. I'm not. I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying, like, he don't want to get in a relationship, right, or get into one ever again, because relationships now are not based on being faithful. Relationships now are not based on loyalty.
The ones that we see.
Huh?
But we just finished talking about Sierra and her husband. So that's not a lie. The trick is, I am using my unfaithfulness or my inability to focus on one person.
What happened to me?
Right. And spread that out on everybody. So you ain't faithful. We go into relationships not trusting people. But guess what? We go into relationships and it's horrible. So unless you are planning to live on your own without any companionship for the rest of your life, feel that. But that's not realistic. You're going to be in something where you're faithful, where you're splitting the bills, where you're cohabitating. And you're going to be constantly like, well, that person probably cheating, so let me go out here and smile and giggle and touch a little bit too. And I don't agree with that. One, we were not part of those strict African traditions, so to adopt
right. As a person who has cheated and has been cheated on, it does make me look at things differently. Nobody has ever been together for 20 or more years, and
that's not true. Nobody you know.
Nobody I know. I can honestly say nobody I know. But I can honestly say, as a person who has cheated and has been cheated on, I don't know if I can allow myself to go into another relationship. Like, I don't know. And it's that's
how fair is it to that person? How fair is that to that other person?
It's not fair. However, I know we both are probably having the same type of
you still putting your stuff on other people.
Yeah, we are, but at the same time, nobody goes into anything fully like, yeah, I trust you, baby. I trust you. No, nobody really goes into it like that anymore.
That's unfortunate, because that's the only way I know how to be. And it's very detrimental, where you gotta be patient and you gotta work through and go to therapy with and give therapy to and be a shoulder for people who think like this. And I understand it is what you saw, is what you've seen. But as many examples as I know that where there's unfaithfulness, I know strong, beautiful relationships. And that's what I aspire to. And I have the balance of knowing that both of them exist in the world, but I don't look at every person as a cheater.
That's the thing. I aspire for a strong, beautiful, healthy relationship. And that's something that I really want. I'm not going to say I ain't going to ever get in a relationship again. I do want that love. I do want to be exclusive. I do want to have that. He loves me. I love him. And the love is still burning even after.
Well, be that then. Be it. Put that into action then.
Yeah, I definitely am. I definitely am. But I'm learning to also to trust people again. I'm learning to trust again. I'm learning to start that again, because I know the things that I have done, and I know the things that has been done to me. And it's like, damn.
You was out there shaking legs. Let me find out.
Listen, I ain't no saint, but I ain't no demon either.
So I'm gonna say, for the first time ever in life, I'm being a hypocrite and saying this to you, but for me, I have trust issues, but I'm learning to deal with them on case-by-case scenario. And hopefully, I didn't share this to any of them, but I'm dating a couple different people right now. Well, two. I'm gonna say.
Me too.
I'm gonna say two. And do they know about each other? No. when they prove my trust, or we're at a space where we're trusting each other, then I won't need the other one.
Exactly.
And I'll make.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I am dating.
Ooh,
I ain't exclusive to nobody. I don't give a damn how much you trying to package it up, make it sound good. But until the day you ask me to be in a relationship with you, to the day you say, Crystal, I want to do this with you. We finna be exclusive. Be my girlfriend. Whatever that may look like for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. People just
That's what I was getting ready to say. If you're not calling anything exclusive, then I don't think it's a problem with it. Especially particularly like what you were saying. I don't think it's a problem with it as long as you're not calling it, as long as you're not giving that person the wrong idea out there calling it. Yeah, we exclusive. Like as long as you're not giving that that storyline, I think that's fine. I mean, I think when you're dating and you're single, you should. I mean, you're open. That's what happened to me before I met my husband. I mean, I was listen, it was open. The floor was open, and whoever decided to make that move, that's where we got to where we are.
She was in Latrobe. She was in Dundalk. She was in Essex. She was in Cherry Hill. She was.
Baby girl she was around the board, honey. I'm telling you. Don't let her.
She was definitely by the zip code.
You just have to have options. You never know.
I don't mind people having options. We all have options. My thing is do your thing. But don't expect for me to be one of them options who you think finna be holding you down, right? And who finna be exclusive to you, but you got to take them options. That's not going to work.
Also recognize how unhealthy it is going into a relationship like that. Exactly. People want that person. There are plenty of scenarios where people have been committed and people are in committed relationships, but they still feel the need. I got to check this phone. I got to do. And it has nothing to do with that individuals. It's just that power that people want to have in a relationship.
I'm living my truth. If we are exclusive, I'm gonna check that phone.
Phone checker.
I'm a phone checker.
What does that say about your relationship if you have to check the phone?
Let me finish. But I knew I was checking that phone because it was something in it that I needed to see. That's
what made you get to that point.
That's who I was.
So you knew it was there.
Who I am. Wait a minute, let me finish.
That's what I agree with.
Who I am now is not that person. Now I have learned that checking that phone, whether you wanted me to find it or not, because if it's in there, it needed to be found. I'm not that person anymore. Now I'm not checking your phone. What you do, one thing I've learned about life and one thing I learned about a person living a lie. What you do in the dark will come to the light. And eventually, baby, I used to make myself the light. I'm a see for myself. I'm not that person anymore. I'm going to let you do what you do. You're going to hang yourself and it's no more coming back from it. It's no more coming back from it.
She takes your Facebook account. She is
I've been through that. I've been told her that. I told her that I don't know how long ago. Girl, stop checking back on phones. I'm not checking no phones because these females don't want to be second. Nobody wants to be second. Yes, nobody wants to be second. I'm not about to sit there and put that's too much work. I'm not checking your phone. I'm not doing all that. It's too much work because at the end of the day, most females don't want to be second. So they're going to come to the light and they're going to tell you, either they're going to tell you a homegirl that she been crying to about why he won't leave you is going to end up texting or telling you. So somebody going to tell you if he doing what he ain't supposed to do, if she doing what she ain't supposed to do, somebody going to tell you, you don't find too many males like that, but you do. Sometimes you find males that get their feelings too. And they want to, I'm going to call your husband. Not saying it was me. I'm just saying. They're always quick to jump to conclusions.
I don't even. Nobody wants to be second. Nobody wants to be the other person. Nobody wants to be the side chick, the side dude, the anything. Because if I'm coming to you as a woman, quote unquote, about your man, I'm coming to you because I want you to leave him alone so I can still deal with him and I can be the main chick.
Right.
That's really what it is.
So this scenario, so you have those trust issues, valid. You have them, they're on you, you're working on letting them go. So you go into a relationship with those values and beliefs, and you feel the need to check this person's phone. Now, let's be real honest. Outside of TV shows, how many relationships do you know have failed because a woman had this insatiable need to always have that upper hand power and know. Because if you knew something was in that phone, why do you need to see it?
Right.
Because I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna just. This is my truth. This is my truth. 9 times out of 10, if I check that phone, I did it to make myself feel good about what I was doing.
That ain't what you're supposed to be.
That's what we've been trying to get you to say this whole time.
That's my truth.
I ain't just trying to get her to say nothing because I already knew.
I checked that phone because it made me feel good about, okay, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. So he's doing
Isn't that toxic behavior though? That's toxic behavior though.
Yeah,
because if you're not prepared to do anything about it, why are you checking it?
Listen, Nate, that's who I was. I'm not her no more.
Yeah, she said she changed. She said she changed.
I'm not that girl no more. I'm not that girl no more. But I'm telling you how I used to think.
But you still have the urge to do it though. You still have you on the first date with somebody, you got an urge to say, "Let me see your phone."
No, not anymore.
Come on, I don't believe that.
She changed. No, she said she changed. Let her say she changed. She said she changed.
I have been on plenty first dates. I have been on plenty dates. Not even got to deal with first dates, but it's people that I'm currently seeing, and I've been on a date with them, and they might be in their phone, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm peeping how you moving. You on your phone, or are you back?
That's why I don't even check them Instagram messages no more. I don't even check them no more. It ain't my business.
That's too much work. I'm not doing all that. We'll figure it out when we get there. When that person comes to me.
Here's my thing. It's going to come out. Yeah,
it's going to come out. That's why I say that's too much work. It's going to come out either way.
And that something's going to happen when it's you. And I'm not saying every scenario is that way, but a lot of them are. It's you. It's your doubt. Because if you're in a relationship with somebody who you think has the potential to cheat on you, why are you there? Why are you?
If you got an inkling that person might be cheating on you, they moving funny.
Even whether it's true or not, if I feel it, why am I there? Why are you still there?
Because I think for a lot of women, and I'm gonna say, I think for a lot of women, we need concrete proof. Because if we all just go based off of something on some feeling, a lot of shit would be just dead.
Not true. Because if that person,
your job, you got an inkling that you about to get fired. You're not just gonna quit. You won't wait for them niggas to fire you, right? That's kind of the same thing. You're gonna wait until you got concrete proof that this is what's happening. I can feel it, and my feeling could be wrong. I could just been going through something at that moment, and I'm just upset, and I feel like, oh, because he not catering to my feelings, he cheating on me. When he normally catered to my feelings, now he cheating on me. That could just be a feeling that I was having when I was angry or when I was upset about something. That don't mean that it's true.
Y'all very one-sided with it. He may not be catering to my needs just because you keep on sneaking into my phone. You are
not even about the phone. It's just about something in general. My phone. God damn it would die. I'm about to die soon. But yeah, it could just be a plethora of things. It don't have to necessarily just be that. Oh, I went through his. He know I went through his phone. Because half of the time, let's be honest, these niggas don't be knowing we go through their phone. They don't be knowing.
They do.
But there are other signs without you having to do all that work. It's signs. You just gotta pay attention to the signs that's there. If he's showing, because a nigga gonna end up showing you at the end of the day. They're gonna show you some site. You ain't gonna be able to call at a certain time. He might not answer his phone at a certain time. It may be a certain place or certain days that you don't end up getting him, or holidays that you like. Why he always disappear? We've been together for 5 years now. He always disappearing on Valentine's Day.
Okay, I think that's still the easy side. So I think we should cater this to the people who are in the relationship, not the side. The side piece, you always know. You the side piece.
Females do not live off emotions. That is not true.
You say what? No.
Females live off emotion, and that's not what's really real.
And I'm gonna tell you this. So I don't want to give away too much because I might lose my card. But if you're checking their phone, guess what you teaching them how to do?
Sneak
Do
and
outside
delete.
the phone.
Right.
So they're communicating with that person via email
See,
or
Right.
from a secret
and
phone.
that's see,
Or
I'm
just-
gonna tell you. Let me tell you how anal I used to be. I would go and I would check your deleted messages and see. This is how not Facebook, iPhone knew what the fuck they were doing when they created a button that allowed you to go back and retrieve deleted messages.
But why if you know, why do you need to double know? Why?
It's not
If
that
you already know, why do you need proof?
we need to know.
Why? That you see how toxic that is?
Oh,
How
I know
toxic
how
that is
toxic it is.
making. So now you're going to impede on somebody else's privacy as if they're a child because you have this inkling. If I feel like you cheating on me, I'm gonna say goodbye. I could be wrong as day, but that's something I have to
That's
live
the
with.
thing that I'm trying to say though. If that person not cheating and that person is on the same page as you, that person is gonna make some fuss, about, or gonna do ain't just gonna let you walk out if they feel like, you in the wrong, or I'm not cheating on you and I know I'm not cheating on you.
Right. It's for me, it's the wasted energy. And I just remember hearing older people say, if you're not gonna do that for them, why you need to know? Why argue about it? If you're not gonna do nothing about it but cry and try to get him to change, that's not doing anything about the problem.
Listen,
Get up and go. And if you're not willing to do that, get out that man's phone.
I think for women,
I like the way they said that. Get on that man phone.
listen, you know I'm
Like,
gonna advocate for my girls. It's not about getting up and leaving.
Man,
Sometimes some women just need to be loved. And I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's
Some
true.
women don't want to leave. Some women need to be loved. And it's
That's
just
true.
that they don't know how to live with themselves or be without that person or that feeling of I need love, I need love, I need love.
That's
Like
true.
I know if I have a friend who is a widow, and in my opinion, she jumped into a relationship after her husband passed away because she needed that feeling of being loved. And I had to remind her, you need to be careful because the people that you are meeting now are not in the same caliber or of the same caliber that your husband was. So you have to be mindful that you looking for love, somebody going to take a hold of that and give you what you're looking for, but also in the same instance, they're going to be doing you fucking dirty. You need to be mindful of that because they can show you what you're looking for. And because you're looking for that, you're going to see past everything else and just be like, he giving me what I've been yearning, what I'm missing, what I miss from my husband. So for some people, I really think that that's what it is.
True.
But
all right, yeah, but with that being said, keep your phones away from BlackRoses. That is our show today.
I'm not that type of person anymore. Public service announcement. If you looking for Crystal to go through your phone, it ain't happening. Because listen, Captain, one thing about it is it's time to do a proper proactive program, precautionary reviewing. I like the technological term. It's called proactive. Wait, run that comment back. Proper proactive program precautionary reviewing.
Don't give her no feel. So Mika, don't give her no feel. Don't give her no feel.
I'm not a girl no more. I have and whenever I do get into another relationship, I ain't even gonna lie. And I told a lot of people this. My last relationship I was in, I thought that was it for me. I thought I was doing it right, but then I started noticing things that I let go, and I started like not reading the proper signs and not reading what I should have saw in the beginning, and I kept pushing it, hoping and praying that it would work and it would change. Now I'm at a stage in my life, the first red flag you give me, all right, buddy, it's time to go. This ain't Trinidad, this ain't the carnival, this ain't Six Flags, this is one red flag and you're out, buddy. You know, and I think that we as women have to start looking at shit like that too. First red flag, and you know it's a red flag, and it's a major red flag. Get the fuck up out of there. Stop trying to hope that nigga gonna change. He ain't.
But can you blame? Are you willing to accept that in return, or you will
Absolutely, I am.
them to talk about?
Absolutely, I am. I've had that happen
That's
to
a
me.
good question.
I
That's a good
have
question.
recently had that happen to me, but the funny part about it was he tried
Was
to
that
come back and be
light
like,
skin, yo? Was that
Well,
light
listen.
skin, yo?
no, light skin. It was that light
Was that
skin.
was that theater, babe? Was that
No, what
theater?
you're not gonna do? What you're not gonna do is call out my people on this show. I got people
Was
watching.
was that theater, babe?
No, theater baby.
You calling her out? She don't like you calling out. She got people watching.
No, that is a red flag.
They don't know they number 3. The people watching don't know they number 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh,
red flag. I'm crying.
I think that was the last one.
That's
Okay.
watching don't know. The people that she got watching don't know that they number 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, y'all, no, I don't know.
Was the last
That's not even
one.
what I'm talking about. See, that's how y'all be trying.
She on here hurting people's feelings. That's not
I'm
right.
hurting nobody's feelings. Listen,
That's-
I keep my life 100%. Y'all know me. I am 100% without a doubt transparent. I'm gonna live my truth. I'm gonna be theater, yo, for real. One thing about it, I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I am living into my truth. I'm living in my truth.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be putting people up.
I don't have to lie. I don't have to delete messages. I don't have to do anything. I'm just regular schmeggler Douglas.
Ooh, she said the VIP sponsor.
She said that was the
She
VIP.
has to move. She about to come down there with you, Kay, because she gonna be booted out. She gonna be on that. She gonna be on that Cheetahs platform. She tried to get me to be in.
Oh God. They gonna be posting her face. Do you know her before I get any further involved?
You know it.
You know Sun trying to call me out. Trying to call me out all the time. All the time. You know how he do.
He said it's theater, yo. So we're gonna do a comment of the day. This is the comment for the day. This is the top comment for the day.
Anyway, with that being said,
we
going
the person that it is, though. That's the part about it.
That's what I'm saying. That's the funny part.
That's the funny part. The funny part is that ain't even the same person.
So you put that out there. I wouldn't have said that.
Right. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end the show right there. We will see you guys bright and early next Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. I don't want to talk about BlackRoses
Nate is
and her
not
pigs.
on my team. Nate is against me, and I'm telling you, he
You'll
is.
never take him with you.
Trying to help you to heal. We're trying to help you to heal.
You need honest friends.
No,
right. It's the honesty for me.
That's why she don't call me. She
won't
call me for a relationship.
You should have went with old theater, yo. That's what I said. I said you could have been a spoon coon.
Who?
Theater, yo.
He could have been my what?
Your ride or die.
Oh no, baby, I'm okay.
Either him or the bus boy.
Oh yeah,
you know you a motherfucker like, cause ain't no bus boy.
Y'all had a lot in common.
Ain't no bus boy. Who the fuck is the bus boy?
He was digging yo until we turned that camera on and found out he was on the 13
No,
going west.
I was not. No, I was not. Listen, I heard his voice and was immediately like, "No, ma'am, absolutely not. Turn the fuck off."
She was when we turned them cameras on is when she lost all sense of connection.
I was not interested in him. If he is watching, no shade to you, sir. I was not interested. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest.
He might not have had enough money to catch the Uber because he spent it on his daughter.
It's not even about that. It's not even about you catching a bus or Uber or whatever. I just wasn't interested. He's not my type.
He might have been catching it downtown, and you know how hard it is to park downtown.
I don't care. He's not my type. He's not my type.
Okay.
He's not your type. Can you make a Can you give us a description of your type? Because I've seen more than one type.
What y'all won't do is point out the single black girl on the show.
Can you give a definition of your type? Because I've seen so many different types that you've been with. So can you give an accurate definition of your type?
She go from east, west, north, south, Dundalk, Essex, Cherry Hill.
I just want a definition of your type. What is your type?
Never.
Tall,
My
dark,
type is a man. My type is a man who is single, emotionally available.
That man was single on the bus, emotionally available.
No, that man was not emotionally available. He was trying to heal. He was going through some healing shit with dealing with his ex-girlfriend who was whipping his ass or whatever she was doing to him.
And y'all would have been at the same. Y'all would have had so much to talk about because both of y'all.
I can't help you heal through that, baby. You gotta do that on your own.
But you can't want somebody up because they gonna look at you like I don't want that shit. She's still healing. I need somebody above all of them.
That's when I have to live in that truth. I have to live in that
truth.
You
like older men or men your age?
On that note.
Thank you all for tuning in. Mute her. Thank you all for mute her. Thank you all for tuning in to I.Am.She. Mute her. Thank you all.
Somebody said, "Well, what's your type?" I like single, emotionally available men who are.
She's not giving an accurate.
Emotionally available. Single, emotionally available. I don't want nobody.
Do you like them dark skin, light skin? Do you like them with kids, without kids? Do you like them to have a career or just a job? What's your type? Do they have to have a car? Not. They have to have a specific car. They have to have. What's the education level that they have to have? Be specific.
Are they taller than you or tall as you? Like, what's the? I mean, we gotta know.
Anybody shorter than me is a no-go. You can taller than me.
He might can still pick you up.
No, he can't.
You lying. Oh, did your type change?
I ain't never dated somebody that was shorter than me. Shorter than me? No.
Oh, shorter than you. Shorter than you.
I've never dated anybody shorter than me.
I was getting ready to say because you dated somebody that was the same height as you.
Oh.
Type it in the chat box.
I'm not gonna call out no names. Let's just say that one day.
Let's not worry about my love life.
Let's just say one day.
Finding a man on here.
No, I don't want to find a man. I'm okay.
Every show topic, I don't care what the topic is, we get on finding our man.
I don't know why y'all so worried about finding me a man.
I'm not. I really am not.
Let it go. She was over the dating game. KD was over after the dating game. She was over the love life.
Me too. I think both of us
BlackRoses is gonna do what she gonna do, and we just gonna hear about it later on if she decides to.
That's it.
Or not, KD. They just gonna start tuning in. That's how we normally figure it out.
That's true.
And then every week, all of a sudden, making some real peculiar comments. Oh, that may be one of the exes. Okay.
Who making real peculiar comments?
Who said get on her?
The surprise guest.
Who said get on her, Kim?
Somebody said she's good.
They said I got somebody for you.
Thank you, Gerard. I'm good.
Who said they got somebody? Somebody said they got somebody for you. I guess they were trying to figure out what your type is.
Who said that?
Dominic.
He said he got somebody for me.
Yeah.
Where you see that comment at?
It's right here.
Oh man, y'all. I can't.
All right, y'all. Let's stop putting her on the spot. Get on. Who is that? Get on the Jeff. Who is that?
Jeff.
Oh, I'm like, who is that to know my full name? Good Lord. There we go. Here's another one. So he want to know what's your type too, because I'm not even gonna put you out there.
Who is he?
I'm not even gonna put you out there. Why you got so many exes on this show today? What is going on? Is this for the love of BlackRoses?
Who is he? Who is he that said what's her type? I don't have a type.
You don't.
Single, emotionally available.
Because every ex that I done seen that popped up on the show today is a different type. So who's your type?
Time to go. Cut the show. This bitch is playing with me today. Cut the show. I gotta go.
All right, see y'all.
Thank y'all for tuning in. If you want to become a sponsor or if you want to jump on the show and thank you,
don't
Black
sponsor
Roses,
this ghetto-ass
and
show.
think that you have what it takes to bleed with Black Roses, let us know. Hit us up in advance. We'll bring you on the show so you can pick up. Bring you on the show to pick her brain if you think you got what it takes to handle Black Roses. She is.
Don't come on the show because of me. No questions about my life.
If you give stars, then we'll let you. I'll send you the link.
Somebody told me they've been sending us stars and you ain't been telling us who been sending us stars.
Because it ain't hit my account yet. When it hit my account,
we're gonna talk about that after the show.
We can go ahead.
No, we're gonna talk about it
So
after.
so you said I owe him a link. I gotta send him a link.
Fuck no.
If Facebook send it to me is when they get credit for it.
And she said no. All right, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good Saturday. Hope y'all tune in next week at 11 a.m.
And don't
forget to share, like, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah. Follow my TikTok.
Mm.
Right.